November 22. Wait, yeah, 22nd, 2021. I'm sorry. You're listening to Oblast with Don and Kevin. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Don.
I don't know why. I saw the 2 and I'm thinking it's like 220, 220. So I just got all messed up in my head. Too many 2s.
That was the 21st.
Wait.
So don't feel so bad. I was about to be like, dude, it's the 21st, but it's like that's totally wrong.
Yeah, we're both out of it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anything new? Anything going on?
Nothing I can really
comment on.
Talk about here. Just baby mama drama.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Well, she survived COVID, huh? Because like she had it. You said at one point she's all right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So last time we talked about booster shots, and then the CDC came out, and we're like, if you're over 50, you should get a booster shot. After I was like kind of saying like, I'd be surprised if they came out. Although I was kind of right. They didn't blanketly say everybody should get one. They basically said anybody can get one, but if you're 50 and over, you should get one. And it's kind of like, Christine, her daughter has it. She all right. She's on the exiting stages of it at this point. Like she's had a bad cough. Yeah. And Christine's like, I've been sleeping with her all week. I've been trying to catch it. Because she knows, like, she's vaccinated and everything. She knows that she'd like be okay, mm-hmm. And she just probably wants like the 2 weeks off with pay, for having it. But her doctor was just like, yeah, your vaccine is still working after 8 months. It's going to protect you from it. And by now it's probably acted like a booster, her breathing it all in and shit. So she's like super protected, but I don't know. It's just funny to me. Yeah, she's trying to catch it and shit. Everybody else is like trying not to. Yeah, nothing really going on here. I went to Olmsted Falls' reunion on Saturday.
Cool. You did?
Yeah, as a
as a guest.
Yeah, and I didn't know anybody. Class of 91. I mean, there was an off chance. You know what I mean? Like, because we knew some people from Olmsted Falls, but
but
not really.
Nobody would remember nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, but like it was mostly dudes. It was like all dudes, basically.
Yeah.
So dudes and their wives. So it was just kind of like, my shed is still being worked on. Guy came out today and he didn't put the roof on, but he kind of got like the wood part of the roof all done, right? And then he wrapped a portion of it with like that silver. It's not paper. It's like a wrap, on the top. And then eventually he's going to put the roof on there. Probably some insulation of some sort, and then the roof. Mm-hmm. But then he took his air compressor and left. And I'm thinking, he took his air compressor. May not be back until spring. I might might just have half a shed. I mean, he might come tomorrow. I don't know. The next 2 days, the weather's supposed to be all right. It's cold. It's cold as shit, but it's not snowing or raining. So maybe, because I think really it's one dude working on it. If he just like buckles down, he could probably finish it in a couple of days, minus maybe the doors, because the doors aren't there yet, but everything else could pretty much be done and whatever. But I don't know. I mean, because being one guy, like if you had two people, sometimes his wife is there and I think she helps him, because like if you're up on a ladder and you need something, somebody could hand you something if there's two people. But if you're by yourself, you got to come back down the ladder, go measure something, go back up the ladder, it's just taking twice as long or 3 times as longer than it needs to. But yeah, whatever, man. I'm not going to tell him to do anything. Like, what do I know about any of it? He'll be pissed and he won't come back.
Yeah, right.
I'll have half a shed. Like, what the fuck?
Hey,
am I going to get somebody to fix that?
Yeah.
So, that's not going to happen.
That's the worst when you don't have a job done. You're like, well, I want to say something, but I don't want to piss him off. I just want to get it done, get it over with. But when are you coming back?
Yeah, everybody gives me that advice. Like, You should say something. I'm not saying anything. I'm not. No.
My dad used to do that because when I which is actually I think tomorrow's the anniversary of him passing, whatever, a couple of years ago. When I would take him to the hospital for his little things, if he's got a bloody nose or if he didn't feel right or whatever, I'd take him to the hospital and he'd be sitting in the bed and the whole time he'd be like, "Go ask them what's going on." And I would just be like, "I'm not doing that." And he's like, go find out. What are we doing? What's going on? And I'm like, "Dad, I'm not bugging these people. I'm like, your life is in their hands. Like, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I don't want some nurse coming in here going like, oh, here's these people who won't shut up.
Right.
They keep bugging me." It's like, so I was like, just relax. But he couldn't because he was old.
He's old. So. I mean, you might get that way too. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not too. If I'm old, I don't want to be too impatient because I'll be dying soon. I don't want time to hurry up. Slow that shit down. Take all the time. Slow it down. I don't want to. Time goes by too fast the way it is at this age. It's ridiculous. You remember those 4 years in high school that felt like 50 years of your life, but then like you blink and like 20 years of your life go by and not much has happened. I mean, some things have happened, but not like it did those 4 years. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. So we're going to go going through this topic list. We thought we'd do more of that today. And, but I did want to mention first, in case any of these lead us onto a tangent and it takes up the whole fucking show.
Possible.
I did watch the rest of Shang-Chi, and I'm not going to talk about the movie. It kind of goes where you expect it to, though. It's well done. It's good. But at the end, when I mentioned that, like, he becomes an Avenger or whatever, because I had heard that. Right. Technically, that's not really what happens. Like, there's no Samuel Jackson showing up and being like, "Have you heard of S.H.I.E.L.D.?" You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Instead, he's like, "Listen, people, if you don't want to know this, because this isn't, there's nothing revealing with what I'm saying here, but if you don't want to know, then don't listen. But it's really not a big deal. I wouldn't tell you some big spoiler or something. It's not.
He's a woman.
Right. It's like him and his girlfriend are with Wong, right? From...
Right. Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. So Cumberbatch, they couldn't get that guy. I don't know. Maybe he's busy on the Sony set with the Spider-Man. So they're like, well, let's get Wong instead of Doctor Strange. And then it was Banner, who looked like Banner. Didn't look like the Hulk.
Back to normal.
And Captain Marvel, Brie Larson. And that's it. Right? And so, like, they didn't say, like, welcome or anything. What they were doing was they were kind of looking at the rings for a minute. I mean, it's a short thing. Yeah. And it's more like I'm not going to tell you what they all say, because that's more like the fun banter. You know what I mean? That's worth watching for it. But it's like, they're just kind of looking at the rings. And then, Wong basically just said, like, get ready, because like the trajectory of your life is going to change, dramatically from here on out. You know what I mean? And then that's kind of where they leave it. Like, and so at no point, unless I miss something, and somebody could write in and be like, you miss this, or Donnie, you could watch it at some point and tell me. But I did not see anybody specifically invite them in. Maybe you can assume that since they were there, but I don't even understand what the Avengers are right now. If it's just Banner, Larson, and Wong. And that's the other thing. And I was going to ask you this, and I almost texted you yesterday about this.
Ooh.
Was Doctor Strange ever actually in the Avengers in the comics?
Not in any of the times that I read it. So anytime up to like the mid-90s, no.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
As far as I know, after that, I don't know. He was in the Defenders with back in the day. He was one of the original Defenders. I think it was him and Hulk, and it was the weirdest team. Him, Hulk, and Submariner or something like that.
I love Silver Surfer. He's so like, the only reason I like him is he's just got this terrible, arrogant attitude.
Right.
He's so arrogant, and that's what makes him fun. Like, I really wish, there was more of that guy.
He's just all bitter. He's like, you're all air breathers and I hate you, but here, let me go ahead and protect you.
He's so above it all, man. He's just so, yeah, I know. It's great. I don't know if they ever do they probably will at some point, but they don't want to copy Aquaman too soon and everything. But
there it is. Yeah, the original team was Doctor Strange, the Hulk, Namor, and eventually the Silver Surfer. So it's like there's 4 characters right there that they put together into a team. You're just like, what?
Yeah, it's like a fucking crazy team. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, there was no wonder it wasn't very successful.
Yeah, no, and that's because I was, and then I was remembering like, okay, so we saw like, Infinity War and Endgame, and Doctor Strange was involved because he has an Infinity Stone, but was he ever like he was never invited into he doesn't even get along with Stark. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he was ever invited into the Avengers, even in the movies. Like he's not an Avenger, I guess is what I'm saying. And the reason I'm saying that is, even though he was in those movies, I just don't consider him like, if they were all at a boardroom or something, like Cumberbatch wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about it. And he was kind of like an outsider. Same with like Spider-Man. Like he was in the movies and stuff, and I know he was an Avenger at least occasionally in the comic books, but like not in the movie. Like he's just not. You know what I mean? He's just the kid. He follows Stark around. That kind of thing. Ant-Man's not an Avenger. Like but not in the movie. I mean,
not in the movie, but he was original in the very.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if you look at it from the movie standpoint, like, I don't know how they. I mean, it was Cap, Black Widow, Hulk, Iron Man. I guess you could say War Machine. Who else?
What do you mean, the way they left it off?
Brie Larson, I guess, because they kind of invited her in, and then Thor. I mean, that's kind of like them. And then like Cumberbatch, I don't know how you say his last name. Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
Okay, Cumberbatch and Spider-Man and stuff, they were more like extraneous. So anyway, my point being is that at the end of, Shang-Chi or whatever, since Wong's there, I'm like, Wong's not a freaking Avenger. And, right. I'm sure they communicate. It's just kind of like, remember when you would read the comic books and they would be like, we got to talk to Mr. Fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, right. And then they would call him on the view screen and he would be like, we don't know why the asteroids are flying at Earth, but we're going to go investigate over here. And good luck, right. Like that kind of thing makes sense. But they weren't in like the same teams, And I feel like the Avengers right now might just be technically the Hulk and Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, and that's not even really a team because she's halfway across the universe all the time.
Well, that's the thing. She's across the universe, and Doctor Strange is too busy doing his thing, and it's like they're trying to rebuild the whole team and make it like a whole new thing, and it's just like Thor's always gone. War Machine's like a general in the army, but like he's not. It's all confusing. Yeah, I mean, right. And and it comes down to stakes too. Like if you do have a really powerful team, like, you got to have a really powerful enemy like a Thanos or an Ultron or something to take them on. But I mean, maybe it's good that Brie Larson is supposed to die. I mean, maybe. Marvel Girl, Captain Marvel, whatever. Because she's too powerful. I mean, I know that. And she's going to be another one, and there's going to, but what? Maybe she'll just, what is it? Claire Daniels or something becomes her or something like that. She's Carol Danvers.
Oh, she's Carol Danvers. That's right.
Yeah,
and
so
then she dies, and then the other girl becomes Captain Marvel.
And then they got this new one who's like a teenage girl who's like Indian or something like that, or like Middle Eastern. I'm not sure because I wasn't reading when she was around, but she's supposed to be the new one.
Yeah, if you could get the new one, and then she'd be like, I don't want nothing to do with Earth and the Avengers. I'm going to go do some space shit. Fine, that works for me, Yeah. But she's just too powerful. Like I don't know, like what kind of bad guy is going to come when you got this girl that can
Well, and that's kind of my problem.
Explode and shit. Yeah,
that was my problem, kind of with the whole Thanos storyline. Like, great storyline, great. They how they wove it through all those 20 some odd movies. But it's like you started off with the biggest, baddest dude, Like, where do you go from there? You know what I mean? It's like you could have done so much more with like just regular supervillains here and there, like, you know, and then moved, and which I guess they did. If you think about it, you're like, well, they did, because Iron Man fought, you know, this guy, and in Iron Man 2 he fought this guy, and Iron Man 3 he fought. Yeah. But I mean, there's like other little storylines they could have done that would have been so much better, like in an Avengers movie from the past.
Yeah, they got to downshift the characters. They got to make the characters a little bit weaker and humble, like kind of like what they did with Thor when they made him kind of drunk and fat. You know what I mean? And off his game. Like, you kind of got to do something like that. But then again, I don't know. Half the characters are dead, and who knows what's going to happen with Hawkeye. With this series coming out, you know, being replaced by this girl, but is she going to be in the Avengers? Is he, Jeremy Renner or whatever, going to be completely out of the Marvel universe at that point? I don't know. It's weird, man. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, but anyway, we've already went over all that. I don't want to keep going. Let's go with the topics, but I just wanted to mention that I'm just not sure. Maybe if you get Disney Plus again or whatever, you can tell me, what you think. You know, is he in? He's probably in, but I don't know. I don't even understand why didn't they invite him? Were we just supposed to assume? I guess a lot of people just assumed. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this topic is basically one for you more than me, but because you would have a better opinion about this. What makes for a good band or song? What kinds of chord progressions, tempo, themes do you look for?
What? That's what?
What makes for a good band or a good song?
Something that's memorable and catchy, I guess.
Yeah, right? There's a lot of those, and they're not necessarily.
I mean, that's why we like Sabotage so much. We used to listen to them, and all the dude did was go, ah, 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 ah.
Well, there was themes there, right? Like if he was singing about men's underwear, we wouldn't have liked it. I mean, there's also like there's a theme there. You were into, but that's just storyline in the music.
That's just like listening to Stryper. Like they have Big Hair Wednesdays here on WMMS, and I'm driving down the street door dashing, and all of a sudden, To Hell with the Devil came on, right? But that's the thing, is like they're sitting there going like, speak of the devil, he's no friend of mine, and you're just like, ooh, they're getting into an argument with the devil because of Jesus, you know what I mean? And it's like, it just sounds so silly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It does. But the music and everything, you're just like, dan 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 down. You're just like, wow, that's such a great song, you know. So it's just, I mean, yeah, you just, I don't know, like good tempo, a good catchy. That's probably why I like Kiss so much, is because as the Kiss is not the most musically talented band in the world.
Right.
I can admit that. And most people be like, of course they're not. They suck. It's like, whatever. It doesn't matter. Right. Yeah. It's like, they're not, because you get like these bands that are like these speed metal bands that are just like, you know, like Guy Man Dude and stuff. Yeah. Just flying, you know, Michelangelo.
Yeah.
All, you know, Nitro.
Dragon Force. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And it's just like, I can't get into that because it's just too much. You're just like, oh my God, no. You guy just hit like 50 notes in 3 seconds. Like, how am I supposed to? I can't wrap my head around it so much. No,
it's not enjoyable. I agree.
But like, you know, just a basic like Kiss. That's all they do. Is most of their songs are like 3 chords, 5 chords. Like I was learning when I first started playing guitar. The guy's like, bring in a song and I'll teach you how to play it. And I was like, okay. And I brought him in a Kiss song, and he was like, okay, that goes like this, dun 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 dun. And he figured it out in 2 seconds. He was like, this is this. Here's the chord. Here's the chord. And I was like looking at him. I'm like, that's not how you play it. But then I went home and I did it, and I was like, oh my God, that is it. Because I never really listened to it. You know what I mean? When you hear music, you're not sitting there going, what does the guitar sound like? What do the drums sound like? What is the bass doing? What is, you know, you're not, when you're a kid or whatever.
Right. I still don't do that. Yeah.
I do now because I'm a freak, but,
you just listen to music. You're closer to it. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. But when you're listening to it, you're just listening to the whole thing you're listening to it as a whole. So it's coming at you. You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh my God, this is the greatest song ever. I completely forgot where I was going with that. Oh,
Kiss and their chord progression.
Yeah, so they're not, you know, they're not crazy fast musicians, or they're not the most technical musicians, but they have hooks, And that's all you need. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, I Was Made for Loving You is the worst song ever. But listen to it. And that's the rhythm, you know, and it's just, oh, it gets you moving. You know what I mean? Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax, right? You're like, what, that song by those gay guys about being gay? Yeah, that song. You know, it's a great song. Why? Because boom, 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 boom. And that's
no, I get it. Like Tainted Love. It's got a real,
yeah, it just goes through the whole song and it keeps you there. You're just like, there's always something. That's what makes a good song. If there's a hook to it, if there's something in it that makes you, I mean, how many times have you heard a song and you've been like, hey, did you hear that new Skid Row song, Youth Gone Wild? And you're like, yes, but you don't know the words because you had to watch it on MTV and you had to wait for them to show it. So you never really got to hear it.
Right.
But all you remember is na, 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 na,
right.
na, na, na. You know what I mean? So that's what makes a good song is if you can memorize it or hear it and it, I mean, for me, there's songs that are just like well, Baird knows because you've hung out with me and Oz and Rom or whatever and all them guys, but like a song comes on and all of a sudden it'll just drive somebody crazy. You just be like, oh my God, I love this song.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so it's like a good hook, a good melody, a good rhythm, something to get you interested, you know, it doesn't matter tempo. Dude, I listened to piano songs by Cry to Sabotage. Like, what? Who does that? Like, it's just so sad and just, you know, moody and stuff. But then you turn around and you're like listening to Hollow's Eve and the guy screaming in the pits of hell or whatever. And you're just like, fire from the sky. You're just like, it just depends, you know?
Sure.
There's no specific. There's anybody who's like, I don't like slow tempo songs. Shut up. Get out of here. You're just stupid. That's because you just don't. Oh, it's because it's not manly. Screw you. You know what I mean? Like I'll listen to Jim Croce. Those are great. You know what I mean? It's what makes a good song? Whatever you like. There's the answer to your question. Because it doesn't matter what I like. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's my answer. I don't know about Kevin. I don't know what he has to say.
No, I mean I like good lyrics. I don't want to have a song about some guy singing about his car or something like that. It just bores the hell out of me. So I do like to think a little bit about the writing of a song. Musically, it's got to be catchy, but it's also like I can listen to like really long songs too. I can listen to like a 20-minute song or something. Right. It doesn't have to necessarily be a chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, verse. You know, it could be something more detailed and everything. But it's just I don't know, because you remember back in the day when you would get like albums and stuff, and you might get something good, like you might get like an And Justice for All, where there's like, you know, Cliff Burton has like, you know, a song on there, you know, that is mostly an instrumental. I think he reads something on, you know, Field does, you know, that he wrote or something, and you know that has some sort of meaning. But then like you might get like an album from some sort of lesser band, let's say. And they might have some musical part in the middle, and you just be like, "This is real boring." Like I don't know, I'll just skip this because I don't care what these guys are doing musically. It doesn't hit me, you know. And so I think it's a little bit of both. I think that the music's got to be good, but the lyrics also got to be good. Like Anthrax, to me, like they wrote some good songs. Sometimes they're kind of simple, but Belladonna wrote some really lyrics weird. That sometimes they worked, man. I don't know, people like Caught in a Mosh and stuff like that. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. You know, Indians was great, but some of that other stuff was just like, who was writing
Clapping
this stuff?
with one hand.
Like I don't, you know, I don't, you know, so it really comes down to a combination of a lot of things. I mean, it does. Like it's got to be the right mix, but yeah, it's got to be catchy. It's got to be tight. And I don't know, like, go ahead.
Well, here's what I was going to say is like you said, like lyrics and stuff and rhyming and patterns and everything's got to be catchy. The only performer or musician that I know that does King Diamond. His lyrics don't rhyme. You know what I mean? Like not 100% of the time. Like sometimes they will, like here or there, they'll come together. But the rest of the time, it's just like he went to the hill. He killed his grandmother. He went back in the house. And it was like, you're thinking, you're reading this. You're like, this isn't a song. What is this? But then you listen to it and the way that it's put in with the music and stuff, you're just like, yes, like kill your grandma,
right.
Like, so it's like, even that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Even that's different,
Yeah.
If good lyrics, basically what I'm saying is good lyrics will make a song better, as opposed to like Sabotage. The dude's always going, no, oh, no. And you're just like, why are you always saying no? What are you afraid of?
Right.
Like, come on.
That's funny. Okay. So next question then. Favorite YouTube or Twitch channels?
0. And that's not the name of the channel. I just don't watch Twitch or anything.
Okay. YouTube? You don't watch YouTube?
No. Mine, I guess my channel with my videos.
I subscribe to a bunch. I watch a lot of TIK, who does a lot of basically very exhaustive World War II battle, basically exactly where everybody is and what everybody's doing in the battle. Like, just to an exhaustive, like he releases a new one like every 3 weeks or something. And it's just, he moves the battle forward an inch, basically. And then you watch the next one and you move the battle forward an inch. But in between that, he answers people's questions and emails about his perspectives on World War II. And he backs everything up with, I don't want to say facts. I mean, he does, but when you're dealing with history, facts is kind of like, it depends on whose facts and who wrote it and where your source material is, because there's a lot of difference of opinions and things like that. But his are usually taken from multiple sources, and he's fairly good. I mean, I don't 100% agree with him on everything, but I do agree with him on about 95% of everything. I think like over time, I've learned that like one question that people always ask is when they're fantasizing about things, is probably video game related more than anything, but what could have happened to allow the Nazis to have won, right? Because there's a lot going against them, basically. I mean, they were never really going to win no matter what happened, but, basically, and it's an interesting thing in my opinion, and I briefly talk about it, is the fact that like, Poland, right, had a part of Germany at that time was inside of Poland. So you had Germany, the country, and then Danzig, not the singer, but the city, was basically a German city. And Hitler wanted to connect Germany to Danzig. He wanted a passage to Danzig. And it's ridiculous. You don't need that. Just like we don't need like a passage to Hawaii. We can take boats there, But this is just, his excuse for invading Poland. And before Hitler invaded Poland, he made a deal with the Russians. Hey, we're going to split Poland in half. You take the eastern half. I'm going to take the western half. And then he also went to Mussolini in Italy. And he was like, listen, I'm going to invade Poland. I want you to sort of sign off on, that you agree or you're going to be involved. And Mussolini was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, we're not going to do that because we're not ready. We're not ready to go to war. Like, we don't have the fuel and the guns. I mean, whatever. They had a big navy, but they just didn't have enough supplies to fight an actual war. So, Hitler goes in and he rapidly takes over Poland and his half of Poland and defeats the Polish after some weeks. It wasn't too long though. And the Russians just walk in on the eastern half. And what's interesting about this is the fact that like, England, the UK, the United Kingdom, declares war on Germany because they invaded Poland, because of their treaties with Poland. And, we talked about this before. are we going to go to war over Taiwan? Right? Like we didn't go to war over the Ukraine. We signed a peace deal with the Ukraine that we were going to protect the Ukraine. Are we going to go to war over the Ukraine? No, we didn't. Are we going to go to war over Taiwan? Don't know. Sure. Right? But there's England. There's England. Not ready for a war. Got just completely economically not ready. Don't have the equipment. Don't have the planes. Don't have the tanks. Don't have the men. Don't have Italy? It at all. England. The UK.
England. Oh, you did mean England. Okay.
Right.
I thought you were talking about Mussolini.
No. They're Mussolini not really ready either, but England not ready, right? Can't invade. They you know what I mean? They don't have a way to come over. They got a big navy, right? But other than that, not ready to fight a war. And here you've got the Russians and the Germans in cahoots, right? Splitting the country up. Russia's big, Germany at that point, they're a problem, right? But both of them together, that's kind of a big problem. And, the French, who were kind of allied with England and would also say like, we will attack because of Poland. Yeah. They weren't ready, They had some tanks that they were working on that were, they were okay. But, in terms of like their whole structure, it was no good, obviously, because Hitler basically, the Nazis overran them with relative ease, and here's my point though, is like England could have just said we're not going to get involved with Poland. Like historically, it would not. I don't think too many people would have been. The Polish would have been upset about it, but I don't think too many people were going to be like, "Wow, you guys didn't go to war over Poland. Well, that was a mistake." You know what I mean? England could have just been like, "We're just not ready." We'll make an embargo. We'll do sanctions on Germany or something. But to declare war was a bold move. It was the right move historically, but it was a bold move. And had they not, had Churchill been like, this isn't it, we're gonna, because, in the back rooms and in the backroom meetings, Hitler is basically telling these people, look, we're going to fight a war against the communists at some point here. And we're going to, we're going to fight these guys, and they're the bigger evil. That's what the Nazis thought, that's not what everybody else thought, but that's what the Nazis thought. They were like, communism is the evil. Like we're going to be the good guys. We're going to fight the Russians at some point. Right now we're allied with them, but it's eventually, because if you read Mein Kampf, it's all laid out in there. Not that I've actually read the damn thing, but if you know enough about it, it's all laid out in there. And he's going east. He's going to take over. He's going to take over Russia. So, you might be thinking, if you're England, you might be like, we don't want to stop them from doing that. Let's let them wipe each other out, and then maybe we'll come in and save Poland or something. Might be better that way. So my point is that it was a bold move. And had that not happened, think about it. The United States wouldn't have gone over and fought. England wouldn't have dropped like tons of bombs on Germany, right? France wouldn't have been invaded because France would have went with England. So France would have been free. England would have been free. Hitler was not interested in going west. He wasn't interested in going south. He was only going to go east. And so, they may have politically put some pressure on them or whatever, but ultimately they could have easily stayed out of it. And the United States, people are always like, well, Hitler made a mistake by fighting a front on two wars, to the east and to the west. Well, the United States fought a war on two fronts. We fought in the Pacific and the Atlantic, and we won. You know what I mean? But the thing is we could have easily just been pretty good just fighting Japan without being involved in another European war. Japan was a hard slog. A lot of people died. You know what I mean? We went like island to island, just like blasting islands to garbage. You know what I mean? Like just leaving nothing behind and then sending guys on boats, and the Japanese would come out of holes in the ground and shit. And there would be these fucking battles with bayonets and everything. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy, the Japanese side of the war. So it's like, we really didn't need we didn't want to, or we did because it was the right thing to do. But you know what I'm saying? Like if England and France would have stayed out of the war, we weren't going to go help the Russians. And so the Russians, there you kind of go like, could they have done it alone? Could they have beaten the Nazis by themselves? I don't think so. I think the Nazis were really close to strangleholding them by cutting off the Volga River where they would get their oil up there through Stalingrad. And if Hitler didn't have to deploy troops to the west and into Africa and just was able to push everything to the east, I think he would have choked them off. They wouldn't have had the fuel. They wouldn't have had the food. They would have had to capitulate, And so the whole thing could have been different based on, you could look at it two ways. It was either based on the fact that England was brave enough when they were completely not ready, and ready to get bombed by the Germans through, the air war, to declare war on Germany and go on a war footing because they were not saving themselves. They were saving an ally. England wasn't under attack. It was Poland, And so, or you could blame it on Mussolini and say it's because Mussolini's decision not to join in, because maybe that would have been enough for England to be like, look, it's Russia, it's Germany, and it's Italy. Like that's too much, And so I think, those two very small decisions, had they been reversed, would have changed the war. But anyway, that's not really what he was asking. But I just
that's your favorite YouTube channel.
Well, he doesn't talk about that. He doesn't. Historians are kind of funny because, like, if you were to bring that theory up to him, probably they look at the facts. Like, he's going to look at the facts of the situation, and he would be like, "Well, that couldn't happen because this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened." And you would be like, "Right, of course, because that's what happened, right? Like, that's his. Like, you have to use your imagination." And sit there and say, like, maybe that didn't happen and that didn't happen in order for this to happen. Oh, but that's not what happened. Yeah, I know that, And so he's one of those guys. Like, he doesn't really lend it too much to the what if scenarios, but I think about them sometimes on all sides. Like, what if the Soviets, had decided to keep pushing west? Like they had 11 million people in their service at the end of the war, in active service. Like, that's a lot when the rest of Europe is basically starving and devastated. And other than the United States that were, kind of, just hanging out over there, we had the nuclear weapons. What if we didn't have the nuclear weapons? Would Stalin have just decided, fuck it, let's go and push west and take over all of Europe? These are interesting questions, and I sometimes sit there and posit them. But anyway, okay. So yeah, Tick's not the only one. I mean, I watch like Tecmo or Tecmone and LGR and lots of these like older guy retro gaming things. I watch those, and I watch a lot of like Syrian news because I'm interested in the war that's still going on over there, and I kind of follow a little bit of that. I follow some of the Chinese news, not the official news, but like the people that sort of report on the real things going on in China and that sort of thing. So a lot of political stuff I watch. I get a fill of all of that. I watch YouTube a lot.
I watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want people thinking like, well, Anderson doesn't watch nothing. No, I mean, like, I'll click on a video and watch a video, but there's no specific person that I'm like, I need to go watch him or her. So
All right.
And Twitch, I'm never on Twitch.
Yeah, I don't watch Twitch.
Unless we do Twitch.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with it. I don't know what to watch on. I don't really want to watch people play video games very often. I mean, if they're really funny, maybe, but that's hard to hit. I'll break this question up.
Break it up.
Favorite candy that no longer exists?
Reggie Bar.
Reggie Bar, like from Reggie Jackson or whatever?
Yeah, remember those? Those were like round and they were like Star Crunches or something. It was like weird.
That's a weird yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. It's not around anymore. I had to get some more in depth here.
That's the Marathon Bar or something.
Curly Whirly. They still have those in England.
Yeah, Curly Whirlies, yeah.
That was we called it Marathon Bar over here, right?
No, they don't. I don't think they make the Marathon. I think that company went under. It was, no, I know what you're saying, but I
isn't that what a Marathon Bar was? Was the caramel and intertwined?
Well, it might be
chocolate.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
There was one that was like a foot long or something like that, or 2 feet long or something. It was like a yard, or I don't know.
But that's the thing. Is like what candy doesn't exist? Morbid Mouth. How about that?
No, there's some, but it's like, let me see here for a second. I have the internet. Marathon Bar.
Candies that don't exist.
Snack history. Yeah, it is Curly Whirly.
Yeah, it's a Curly Whirly now in England.
The Marathon Bar was a popular chocolate bar that covered a long piece of caramel. It had a distinctive twirled or curly shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but,
give me a box of Curly Whirlies, Jimmy.
Thinking about this continued.
They're going to come up with the Reggie bar. The first one's going to be Reggie.
Candy favorites. Is this
I hope.
Chicken dinner. That sounds disgusting.
That's gross. I mean,
let's see. There's a bunch here. I'll look for things that are kind of interesting because nobody cares about ginger Altoids.
No. I mean,
Big Time Bar. No.
I mean, they still make Charleston Chews, don't they?
Yeah.
Those are okay. I mean, there's nothing.
I don't know if they're still making Clark bars yet. Like the one company bought the Clark bar and they started making Clark bar cups. Like it's the Mallow Cup company. The Mallow Cup company bought the Clark bar machine, but they can't make it work right. So they were like, well, we're going to take the broken bits of the broken thing and put it into a cup. Because we're good at making cups. We're just not good at making bars. And they've been doing that. I don't know if they got around to it, but anyway.
All those Clark bars, any Clark bars that you find right now are probably from the 70s. It's just, they've been, because nobody bought them back then either. I thought, I've always liked Clark bars.
No, I did too. That was made by the Necco people. So when Necco went out of business, they still make Necco because somebody else is making that now. But the Clark bars were also, bought by somebody else. But apparently it was just like one machine that some guy has and that the Mallow people have. And they're like, how does this thing work? It's just like probably spitting chocolate out like, and there's like a peanut butter thing gets shot in the middle of it. And like, that's not right. Put it in a cup. Bubble Yum, sugar free. Let's see. Clorettes. I remember Clorettes. Gatorade gum. I remember that.
No.
M&M's almond. They bring that shit back every so often. So Marathon Bar's in here. It says in 1981, after an 8-year run, the braided caramel 8-inch candy bar was retired. It remains one of the most requested discontinued candy bars of all time. Curly Whirly, people.
There it is.
You can find it.
You go to Scotland, you get a whole box of them.
Nestle's Milk, Nestle's Triple Decker chocolate bar. Now and later flavors, but there's still now and laters. And O. Henry isn't made anymore.
Really?
Yeah. In 2018, Nestle sold the rights to Ferrera Pan, that they make the Nutella, and the bars have disappeared from the shelves, although the product has not been, quote, formally discontinued. Ferrara's not making it, though. Chocolate covered payday. PB Max. I remember the PB Max. That's cool.
How about Ooh, oh, I thought that was that bit of honey. They still make those though. I don't like those when I was a kid though.
Reggie candy bars in here. That's good.
See, told you. Root beer barrels.
They still make root beer barrels. Come on.
It says Brock's root. It says on this list.
Brock's maybe Brock's. Yeah, I don't know if Brock's is still making stuff anymore.
Dem Bones. Bubble Yum.
Star Bar. I've seen Star Bars not that long ago at Be a Sweetie.
Remember like in the late 70s, early 80s, it was like a big gum war. You know what I mean? They like came out with like Bubble Yum and then Bubblicious and Hubba Bubba.
Sure.
And, like, it's like they came out.
Chew.
Yeah, it's just like there was like a 5, 6, 7, whatever year period where it was just like, what are you, Bubble Yum? No, I'm Bubblicious. Well, I like, Hubba Bubba. This one doesn't stick to your face. This one tastes like this. It's always.
Yeah, I think it was like just because I think maybe commercials were a little bit cheaper and so more people could make them. And then also like people weren't as concerned about what their kids were eating back then, basically.
Right.
And so
what about
lots of
candy cigarettes?
Yeah, you can still get those at Be a Sweetie.
Yeah, that's true too.
How about restaurants? A restaurant that no longer exists that you used to go to.
Hold on a second here. On this list, it says Mars bars, reintroduced as a limited edition in 2018. You can get Mars bars. I have Mars bars in the closet here.
I mean, they're certainly still sold overseas. They're a big deal.
Yeah.
They're like the Snickers over in like UK, basically.
Exactly.
They're much bigger than they are here.
This list isn't great. This list is insane. Okay, so I'm sorry. What was the next one?
Restaurants. Like Sister's Chicken or
gross.
I can't even remember what it did. Maybe it was delicious. You don't remember. It's not around anymore, so it probably wasn't.
You know the first one on your list.
White Castle?
Ponderosa.
Ponderosa was weird.
Ponderosa was great before they got that.
It was interesting. Folks, if you've never went to Ponderosa, it's kind of like a Sizzler in a way.
Yeah.
You would walk in and you would pick like a steak that you wanted. Like you would order it like as you're in line waiting to be seated. You would be
like you're going to a cafeteria.
Right. You'd be like, I want like a Delmonico steak or something. And then how do you want it cooked, et cetera. And they'd be like, all right. And then you would get a plate and then there was a buffet. And you wouldn't get your steak on the buffet. They would bring your steak to you at some point. You could also not get the steak and just get the buffet if you wanted to. Heathen. But then people would just go and get the buffet. And that was when like buffets contained mostly real food. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like today, I'm not saying like some things are okay, but some things just seem like they're artificial too much. Like back then there wasn't enough artificial shit to put on a buffet. Like you had to use real food. Yeah.
Ponderosa was really good because like you said, like before the buffet, it was just a steakhouse. There was no, they'd be like, you can have the salad bar, but you'd go through that line and you grab the tray, you put it on the thing, you slide it down, you grab your drink,
right?
You're pouring your own drink. You're like, wow, this is cool. And you go past that little dessert section where they have like the cups of pudding and you're just like, I'm going to take this for later, put that on your tray. And you walk, it was so awesome. Yeah. Their buffet was weak though.
It was a weak buffet. Yeah, it wasn't a big, right. No, it wasn't a hometown buffet. I mean, it was just sort of like a side thing. It was like a bunch of sides.
Hometown buffet. Oof.
Is that even still around? That might be.
No, that's long gone. That was, man, I ate there. I ate so hard there once. I didn't even, I think you and I ate there once. We couldn't even walk out of the place. We were just like, I got to sit here. And the lady kept coming back. Was like, "You guys okay?" I was like, "Yeah, we just need a minute." But like, I ate there so hard once, I didn't even make it around the corner. I was on like 210 West 210th, right there where Westgate is. Like that's where I got to, and I was just like, I got to pull over, peek it all out. It's like I can't. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I stuffed all that in my face. It was so that
Yeah, that's so good, man.
I step on a scale. I'm like, man, I'm over 200 pounds. What the hell happened to me?
It's like in your 20s when you're just gorging on everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're just like, I can eat it.
I paid $9 for this. I'm eating 3 times, and I'm getting dessert.
It's fucking great.
So there's the classic. I don't know. I don't know. You should know this one. The classic hometown buffet story. I took Clint there. I was like, Clint, you got to go to this buffet. It's great. He's like, okay. So me and him went. And the servers aren't like, they're like, they help you at your table and stuff, but they're not like checking up. Because they're not getting you, you know what I mean? You can do your own thing. So it's just like, they're just there. And we had this one girl and I was like, hey, this girl's kind of cute. And Clint's like, I think she's into you. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I don't know. She kind of smiled and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to her. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Da, da, da. I'm like totally, trying to lay some game and stuff. And, I'm eating and, I finished like my dessert and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's great. Yeah, sure. I get up and I go to the bathroom and I go into the urinal. I take a piss. I turn around. I walk to the sink and there's ice cream in my beard. It's just that was just there, like that was like gravy or something, like just sitting like a big glop that you could totally see. And I was just like, that son of a bitch. He knew I came walking out. When I came walking out of the bathroom, he was dying laughing. He was just sitting at the table like, oh my God, it was so funny. That was on your face the whole time. And you're just like, hey, how's it going? Like, how you doing? I was like, you're an asshole. I'm like, I hate you. Hometown. That's how I was though. When I get to a buffet, I'm just like, stuff it all in. So, what about Chi-Chi's? Did you ever eat at Chi-Chi's?
Fuck yeah, we used to get tacos on Sundays.
Well, tacos, but
yeah, no, I've had meals there, dude. People, how can you? I mean, I used to date people, girls and shit. You go to Chi-Chi's. I mean, it just happens. You gotta go.
Well, Sanderson's there, so.
Some people liked it more than me. Like my brother and Lori went there like all the time for some reason. I don't know, but I mean, it was okay, but I don't know. I like a variety of things. Some people get hooked on a certain thing, like it becomes their thing, and they go to the same place all the time. Like I'm not that kind of way.
The old Little Caesars, because that's closed down. Now it's the new Little Caesars, and that sucks. I can't think.
Chi-Chi's was good though because Chi-Chi's gave you a lot of food. Like you kind of could eat and be full and be all right. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it was Mexican, but it was like they had inventive things on the menu and stuff that was different, and a lot of it was good. They had a buffet too, but the buffet was kind of
yeah. Who eats enchiladas?
Who am I telling? You work there. You know what I'm saying,
right?
Racks. No, I don't know.
Snaps.
Burger Chef. I can't remember what any of that shit tastes like anymore to even know if it was good or not or whatever.
Sambo's. Oops, I can't say that word.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I don't. There's so many restaurants these days. It's crazy, man. Mountain Jacks or something.
Yeah, there was this restaurant called the Riviera over here in Westlake we used to go to every Saturday, and I used to love that place.
Yeah.
But they closed down a long time ago.
I kind of remember that place. Yeah, it was kind of back by where Davies was, wasn't it, over there?
No. This was in Westlake by where Kmart used to be.
Oh, okay.
By the highway.
I was thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Okay, how about cereals that no longer exist? Got any cereals that you miss or anything?
Well, it didn't Count Chocula used to be year-round.
Sometimes. I mean, I think you can get it still year-round if you go to the right place. But then you have to ask yourself, like, did they actually manufacture it? Or is this just, like, leftovers from, like, Halloween of last year or something?
Donkey Kong cereal.
That was a good cereal. It's kind of like Captain Crunch.
That's all it was. It was just basically Captain Crunch.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good. I had a Spider-Man cereal once. It was fucking awful.
Tasted like spider webs.
It was like fruit flavored fucking honeycomb or something. It was just awful.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. When we were kids, like, I mean, when in my house, which I've already mentioned many times, was partially like a prison camp. We didn't get a lot of sugar cereals. Like my parents didn't buy the Count Chocula or anything, partially because they didn't want us to eat it as a treat. You know what I mean? Like, because we didn't have a lot of money and cereal was kind of expensive. So my parents didn't want us to come home from school and be like, let's have some tricks. You know what I mean? Like, because you'd go through it all and there wouldn't be any breakfast cereal and shit. Not to mention the fact that, like, half the time we got our food from, like, food banks and, and WIC and all that kind of stuff. So you just get, like, the big box of plain cornflakes and Rice Krispies all the time. And it's just like, ugh. You know, it's just all plain shredded wheat, plain shredded, like that big shit. It looks like a horse patty in a bowl of milk. It's fucking awful.
Yeah. It's like eating a bowl full of grass.
It's just bad. Grape nuts.
Wet grass.
Who eats grape nuts? It's terrible.
On purpose.
Yeah. Awful. And there was like lots of cereals back then. Like they would advertise like Total. They'd be like, this is Total. It's bran flakes with all these vitamins in it. And it was like no flavor, just like you're eating a piece of a tree. Like somebody shaved the tree into a bowl and put some milk on it. And they're like, there you go. There's your cereal. And you gotta try to eat it all. You get grounded or something.
You know, it's a bad day when you're like, I'll take the Raisin Bran because that's the best one you can find.
Right. It's got some raisins. It's a little interesting because there's something in there.
You're like, please. Like, can we get Frosted Flakes? They're like, no,
corn bran and freaking bran flakes. I mean, none of it was good.
Here's the thing about this question, and it can kind of go with all the restaurants and the candy bars as well, too. Is like anything that we like that was discontinued basically was discontinued because it was no good. So it's like, what did you like that was discontinued? Nothing, because they kept it around.
I mean, for the most part, yeah, it's for the most part that's
there's
true.
A few things, but
yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, but so like cereal wise, like I never really got to eat a lot of the good cereals. I do kind of miss the toy surprises that they would put in cereals. I mean, I think like they got rid of those because I don't know, peer pressure groups or something were like, you know, that's just you're tricking the kid and they're not getting nutritious cereal because they want the magnifying glass. But like, listen, the kid knows the rules. If the kid gets the box with the magnifying glass, he has to eat the box of cereal. That's the rule. So who cares? Like, put the magnifying glass in the Total box or something. I like the toy surprise. Like, I thought that was I had something to look forward to as a kid. Shit, it was just a piece of junk, but at least I got something. Yeah.
Here's a sticker for you. Like, oh, thanks.
Right.
I remember how like it used to be buried in the, like, you got your cereal.
Yeah, in the cereal, yeah.
And you got the bag with the cereal in it in the box, and it would be in the bag.
Yeah.
And it would be like, you would open it, and every kid would just jam their hand right in it. Squishing around marshmallows and Lucky Charms and stuff.
Totally.
And pull out this little action figure and be like, yes, I got it. And then just cereal everywhere. And then they finally were like, all right, we got to put it in the box, but outside the bag.
Yeah, because kids are going to choke.
So then you didn't even have to open the bag. You just pull the bag out and grab the toy.
The whole fucking choking thing with the kid's going to choke. This is going to make the kid choke. Everything's good. Like anything that's smaller than like the size of a pea, like which is about 1 billion things like a kid can choke on. Like, it's like, so that ruins it for everybody.
we live in a society where pizza companies have to put a warning on the box that says "open box before eating pizza." So, you know what I mean?
Stupid. Yeah, I don't know. There's just some things they just leave alone. Like, who cares? Like, like just put the toy surprise in the cereal. Same with like Happy Meals and shit. Better be a toy surprise when I buy a Happy Meal if I'm a kid. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
that's just part of the agreement.
I would take my daughter through McDonald's and she'd get a Happy Meal. And nowadays it's like, do you want the boy toy or the girl toy? And it's like, oh, so they got, I was always like, oh, cool. So she can get her own thing. And every time we went through the line, she'd be like, give me the boy toy. She's like, that's way cooler than the girl toy. I don't want it.
Probably is. Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, but it's like we're driving through the drive-through and they see that you're a girl and you're a kid. They're going to be like, why does she want that?
It's for dad.
Yeah. The Spider-Man magnet.
Yeah. Well, but that's right. Like, that stuff's fun. Like, I mean, it's the same. Remember, they would sell glasses all the time. You would bet like the Star Wars glasses that you would get at fast food restaurants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Before they just started to get cheap and just offer the plastic cup with the branding on it. They don't do a lot of any of that anymore, really. But the glassware was a kind of a nice thing.
Let me see if you remember this, because this is when I was really young. 7-Eleven, those plastic cups. Do you remember the 7-Eleven old school plastic cups where they'd have like baseball teams? They'd have like football players. baseball players.
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah, I kind of remember. Yeah,
they had like a Marvel run where like one cup would be Iron Man and one would be Spider-Man, one would be Captain America or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they don't do, like you said, they don't do that anymore.
No, and that was cool, man. Like
yeah. If they did that now, they would sell.
I think so. I think glassware and things like that would still sell today. I don't know why they stopped doing it. Arby's used to have like Christmas stemware, and I knew people that used to collect that, and I was always baffled by it. I was just like, because you could just go buy like a 6-pack of stemware, you know, for your holiday or something, of wine glasses or something. They were always decorated different from Arby's, and I was just like, this is weird. Like, I don't like why. It's like fast food. Just go buy regular, you know. No, it's the Arby's stemware. It's like, all right, yeah. Okay, well, we didn't get through too many of them, but that gives us a lot more things to talk about. Do send emails to Oblast at VGN, videogamenews.us, and we'll, like these, we'll talk about them, and we'll have some memories to think back on and have some laughs with all you guys. But yeah, thanks for listening, and talk to you later.
Peace.
You've been listening to Oblast with Don and Kevin. If you'd like to write into the show, send an email to oblast at vgn.us. That is VGN as in Video Game News. And be sure to check out our Patreon page, which is at patreon.com/VGN, where you can get all of our shows, our videos, and some musings. Be sure to tune in each week for new episodes on our Patreon page or every other week on the public RSS feed that you're subscribed to now. Thanks for listening, and good night.
Peace.